hadn't even met me yet.
Rod Vachon Holdings proudly presents Warweek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herring.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday to all of you guys. And I tell you what, originally we had Rick Glazier slated, our brother Rick. We wanted to hear all of his banter regarding and his diatribe against PBC making this last-minute switch from Keith Thurman, who he ridiculed, to Sebastian Fundora, that he's ridiculing. We're going to have a Rick Glazier Twitter watch just as an homage to my dear friend, Rick Glazier, who is watching the Buffalo Sabres right now of NHL. But we will get him on as soon as we can next week. Hopefully, I'll be joined very shortly by my dear friend, G Funky Boxing. He's going to share his thoughts on everything regarding what everyone is claiming to be an upgrade between Tszyu versus Seabass Fundora for the WBO and WBC Junior Middleweight Championship at 154 pounds. But before we move forward, guys, I do have to acknowledge our new sponsor. Well, actually, is an older sponsor, but we renewed our relationship. So we want to acknowledge right now, and we want to thank for their support of Warweek Boxing, as well as our fight cards in San Antonio, in the entire South Texas area, expanding now to New Mexico. And we want to recognize also our centralized location for affordable dentures and implants in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That's where the mothership is. So guys, if you're in the need for any dental work, they do more than just dentures and implants. Please go visit Affordable Dentures and Implants, guys. I will say this, guys. It's interesting. I'm hearing everyone, it's almost reminiscent of when Jermall Charlo had to duck out of the Canelo fight, and everyone started calling the undisputed 154 champ at the time, Jermell Charlo, when he was interjected for the Canelo fight. In the immortal words of Steve Kim, this is an upgrade, actually. Really? How would you know? Because he's a 54-pound undisputed champion. How did it play out there, Steve-O? Didn't look like an upgrade to me. And I'm going to pose the same question. Guys, is this really an upgrade? What say all of you? Let me know, guys. Is this an upgrade? Who's the better opponent for Tszyu at this time? Now, keep in mind, he's a young man. He fought for the vacant title. He didn't fight and defeat Jermell Charlo. He fought Brian Mendoza, who smashed Seabass Fundora to fight for the vacant title. Is this an upgrade? Keep in mind, guys, I understand that Keith Thurman has been largely inactive. But at one point in time, he was the kingpin at 47, boxing second glamour division. After Floyd Mayweather retired, he was the guy at 47. Unified champion. His only loss is a close, competitive one to ring legend, future Hall of Famer, all-time great Manny Pacquiao. Is it an upgrade? In my opinion, guys, well, I'm not going to voice my opinion just yet. I'm posing the question to you guys. And guess what? Just like last night, because it was such a fun show last night, if you missed it, guys, boy, you missed a good one. We were having a lot of fun sharing stories about Emmanuel Stewart, talking about all kinds of great stuff, talking about the weekend's events, talking about the prospect of William Zepeda versus Shakur Stevenson or Tank Davis. He's now the mandatory challenger, or could be, for both of those titleists at 35. So I'm posing the question to you guys, and please get your headphones on. I'm going to drop the link because I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is a guy who was smashed also by Erickson Lubin in a Fight of the Year candidate. In my opinion, it was Fight of the Year. That was a great fight. I will say this also, from a mainstream and casual perspective, this is this is going to prove to be a much more entertaining fight for as long as it or as short as it lasts. This is going to be Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And welcome to the Freak Show, because Seabass Fundora, 6'5", still makes 154 pounds. Holy shit. Oh, boy. El Cuatro, welcome to the show, sir. He said, Lubin smashed Fundora? Yep, sure did. But, tell you what, Seabass, man. Now, dare I say, did that fight ruin Sebastian Fundora? Because he took a lot of punishment in that fight, but man, he really showed a lot of heart, toughness, and withstanded everything Lubin had to offer. And he's a big puncher, Erickson Lubin. Very technically proficient, but just doesn't have the best set of whiskers in the division. So that's no indictment. Well, he's a very good fighter, guys. But my point is, he's been smashed his last two fights. He took a lot of damage as a punishment his last two fights. Obviously, getting knocked out cold against Brian Mendoza. And so he's inactive for almost an entire year, and now he gets this assignment, and everyone's calling this an upgrade. Please, guys, tell me how. I don't see it. Is it because it's now for the WBO and WBC championships? Is that why you guys are calling it an upgrade? That would be the only way, because otherwise I don't see it. Look, I was right about Jermell Charlo being interjected, not being an upgrade. I was right about that. I don't give a shit what Steve Kim says. This fight is an upgrade. Really? You sure about that? Sylvester the Cat? Chingao. But anyway, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. And guys, if you have your headphones, please put them on. Click the link. Let me hear what you guys have to say live. El 4P. Salute to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us, sir. Jairo Galvez. No Slick Rick? No, unfortunately. Yeah, I was running a little late, and he wanted to go on a little earlier. So we just had our schedules mixed up. But yes, we will have him on as soon as we can, because I love sharing the air with Mr. Rick Glazer. He's a funny guy, isn't he? Also, my brother Toby Bartlett. How are you, my friend? Hey, did you catch Dillian White smash Christian Hammer? The fluffy Dillian White. Anyway, brother, that was in Ireland, right? Oh boy. Yeah, that was the talk of the town, apparently. Jeez. Did anyone even see that fight? I saw part of it. Wasn't a good video. Anyway, give a big shout out to my brother, Mr. Lance Meyer. The house. This house is a prison. Yeah, well. Oh boy. It's good to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Blue Eyes, thank you for joining us once again. He says, you're right about ring IQ. I am. Someone who likes to compare the two situations. Biased towards promoters. Yes, he is. He thinks he's setting up Tim. Doesn't like that Tim is with PBC. Yeah, I don't want to talk about that idiot. And that guy is, he's a cheap imitation of Vinny Barbarino from Welcome Back, Kotter. Yo, what up, B? Yo, what up, B? It's too many pay-per-views. Okay. His entire argument when we were going back and forth, it was hilarious. Because Showtime actually aggressively went out and paid for all the best matchups in the schedule 2023. He was criticizing them because it was too many pay-per-views. And I'm like, Look, Canelo's always going to be on pay-per-view no matter what network he's on. So is Tank Davis. So is Ryan Garcia. The only ones that shouldn't have been on were the ones that were featuring David Benavidez. He's not a pay-per-view attraction just yet. In fact, I think they pushed him onto pay-per-view way too soon. Crawford Spence, that wasn't a pay-per-view fight. Look, what difference does it make if it's all on Showtime or scattered around 3 networks? It doesn't, guys. The guy's an idiot and he has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about this business. And why? Because he's never worked a day in his life in this business. And that's the reality, guys. And look, it's funny. You can always, it's funny. Within a minute's time, if I'm talking to someone who's in this business, just from my verbiage and what I'm talking about, they can quickly ascertain within a minute that I'm actually in this business and I know what I'm talking about. The only ones who don't know are ones who are on YouTube and have never worked a day in their lives in this business. And why? Because they wouldn't know any better. They don't know any better. They wouldn't be able to tell. It's very, very simple, guys. So I sniffed that out very quickly, called him out, and he took exception to that because he's running a business on YouTube. He couldn't care less about the health of the sport. Most YouTubers don't. All they care about is how many subscribers they have and how many super chats they get per week. So the only thing that's separating that moron from the poor soul at the intersection that has a sign that says "Will work for food" is a camera and a mic. That's it. No different. We, though, everyone on this channel is in this business. That's why we give it to you straight and we give it to you 100%. We will tell you what the insider information is and what everyone is talking about in this business. That's a difference. Lance Meyer doesn't think it's an upgrade. Cuatro. He says upgrade. Very good. Let's keep going, guys. Let's hear what you guys have to say about it. Heido says this, at least the belt's on the line, but this shouldn't be pay-per-view. That's it. You hit the nail right on the head, Heido. Ding, ding, ding. Big winner, chicken dinner. That's it, guys. So now I hear detractors talking about, oh, I can't believe this is on pay-per-view. Shame on you, PBC. Guys, this is on pay-per-view out of necessity. And I think I stated this 2 shows ago. Do you have any idea why? That they chose Keith Thurman. PBC. One, the reason why they chose Tim Tszyu in their first, because if you guys didn't know, okay, I'm going to tell you, you should know by now, that PBC, they were trying to get a line of credit from Amazon Prime, a budget for their operation. But after looking at their, the skeletons and the bones of previous networks, losing money for everyone that they had worked with, right? Losing Waddell and Reed over $800 million in a very short amount of time. So for all intents and purposes, Al Heyman was trying to get a line of credit from Amazon Prime for a budget with a 300 credit score, right? That's not going to happen. So this is a distribution deal exclusively. They will pay for marketing. They'll pay for distribution, but they're doing this for a percentage and a much higher one than just 10%. Okay? From what I've been told. So the reason why they chose Tim Tszyu in their initial effort was because they're relying a lot on No Limits, which is Tim Tszyu's Australian promoter. And a lot of mainstream money from the distributors in Australia. It's also going to be on pay-per-view in Australia, but it's not going to be Amazon Prime. It's going to be a big, big event in Australia. This is Tim Tszyu's first fight in Vegas, right? He wanted to fight in Vegas. So who are you actually going to pair as a headliner at 54 for PBC opposite Tszyu that's actually going to sell? Who, guys, at 54 would you have pitted against Tszyu if you're PBC? Well, that's why they had to pit Keith Thurman. He's the only name who's ever been a headliner that was suitable and who was in the gym, who was ready. And that, unfortunately, WBC didn't want to approve that, or the WBO rather. Paco Varicel, the head of WBO, did not want to approve Keith Thurman as a suitable defense because he hadn't fought in a decade at 154 pounds. The only time prior to this that he had fought at 154 was when he smashed, his name will lose me now, Carlos Quintana on HBO. That's how long ago this was. You know, the guy who handed Paul Williams his first loss, right? For one fight, he was the WBO champion, or WBA champion, rather, at 147 pounds. That was his only stint at 54 prior to this. But he had competed at 54. Technically, it was a catchweight of 52. But who else are you going to put from PBC to headline against Tszyu? Anybody? So they had no choice but to put Tszyu or Keith Thurman. And honestly, I thought it was very intriguing because who had ever really beaten up soundly Keith Thurman? Keep in mind, guys, this guy was the man at welterweight for a short amount of time after Floyd Mayweather retired. He was the kingpin. He was the unified champion. But when you pay someone like Keith Thurman, who isn't a huge ticket seller, but you pay him inflated purses, well, he gets used to making that kind of money. And he took a lot of time off. You give a guy like that soft touches, making millions for soft touches. How much do you think he's going to expect to face someone like Terrence Crawford? Well, he demanded $10 million, priced himself out. How much do you think he wanted to face Errol Spence Jr.? Same thing, $10 million, he priced himself out. So he had a lot of time on the shelf to think about things. Well, at the tail end of his career, being largely inactive for the last half decade, I think fighting twice in the last half decade, he was like, you know what? I need to get busy. Either fish or cut bait. So he chose to take this assignment. And honestly, I was really intrigued. I wanted to see what he had left. Because by far, it was going to be Tszyu's toughest opponent to date. Say what you want. Now, once again, on paper, at least, we really didn't know, though. We had no idea what Keith Thurman still had in the tank. And look, I don't want to insult Sugar Ray Leonard either, saying, well, he had been inactive for 3 years when he stepped in the ring with Marvin Hagler, and look how he fared. That's an insult to Sugar Ray Leonard because Keith Thurman, in no way, shape, or form, could ever be compared to the great Sugar Ray Leonard. So I'm not going to do that. But guys, no one had ever beaten Keith Thurman soundly. In fact, I actually had Keith Thurman defeating Manny Pacquiao. 114-113, 7 rounds to 5, even with the knockdown. So I was very curious. And then now, once again, if you guys are wondering if he's really injured, guys, I'll tell you right now, he's really injured. He has a history of muscle tears in his right arm. I think it's his right arm. He has a history of bicep injuries. And so I'm not surprised. But thankfully, PBC actually had Sebastian Fundora versus W.A.W in the co-main event. And they customarily do that, and we talked about that on last night's show. That's a very healthy practice. You don't have to scrap the entire card, right? But now, some people are calling this an upgrade, and then some people are claiming, I can't believe this on pay-per-view, just like Heidel. And he's right. But guys, this is going to be on pay-per-view anyway. Because how else are you going to pay the fighters? Amazon Prime isn't paying for the licensing fee. They're only they're only distributing the product. And they're doing it for a percentage of the proceeds. That's it. How else are you going to pay the fighters outside of the live gate? This had to be on pay-per-view out of necessity, guys. So please don't look at it that way. It's no different than Girls Gone Wild being on pay-per-view. No different, out of necessity. Because if no cable network or streaming platform wants to pay for the licensing fee, you have no choice. That's the only way we're going to see these fights. And see, that's why I'm saying, that's why you guys have to subscribe. That's why you have to subscribe. So we keep getting these TV dates. If subscription numbers don't go up for DAZN, if subscription numbers don't go up for ESPN and ratings aren't good, then guess what? Everything eventually is going to be available on pay-per-view only. We don't want that, guys. We like our TV dates. So I hope that helps, Heido. Hope that helps, my friend. Lance says, yeah, it's an upgrade, but the whole property need to be upgraded anyway. Look, we'll see, guys. I don't know who this is. Who is this? Let's see. Who is this, brother? Hello. Can you hear me?
Mr. Herring.
Can you hear me, sir?
Mr. Herring, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Who am I speaking with?
My name is Lance Myers. It's nice to speak with you.
Oh, it's Lance. How you doing, my friend? Good to hear from you. It's nice to match the face with the moniker.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the show for the very first time, brother. Where you at, man? You're in the garage with the heavy bag. Right on, brother.
St. Paul, Minnesota.
Wow, St. Paul, Minnesota, man. So
Yes,
you've been watching, have you been going out and checking out the PBC events when they're in Minneapolis?
I try my best. I try my best to get out there. I do what I can to get out there and support the shows.
Oh, that's good, man. Good, man. I tell you what, I can't understand this this weird sentiment where people favor one platform over the other. Either you're a boxing fan in my mind or you're not. How do you feel about that, brother?
I agree. I agree 100%. But
so what are your thoughts on this card, my friend?
I was going to say, speaking of PBC events, I support the PBC, Joseph. Mr. Herring, I support the PBC. I support a lot of the things that they do, but they're going to have to pry my $75 out of my cold dead hand.
Woo! And that's well within your right as a consumer, my friend. Just know that yeah, this is these next two events, right? This one and especially the Canelo one. The Canelo one is most important. This one, you know what? This is predominantly dependent on the Australian distribution and Australian TV. So this one, you get a pass. This one is not going to be make it or break it time, right? But May 4th, yeah, that's a huge one for the future of PBC as well as boxing in the American market. So, hey, it's ultimately your decision. If you don't think this is a good purchase, so let me ask you then, is this not worth $75 the entire card? Rolly versus Pitbull Cruz. Now, I'm not even going to mention
Mr. Herring. Mr.
Yes,
Herring,
sir.
I don't have anything wrong with this card. There's nothing wrong with this card. Actually, in all reality, this is a great card. This is a phenomenal card. When you look at this in totality, it's a good card. But when you hit me with the reverse Robin Hood, when you hit me with the fucking okie doke like that, I don't appreciate it at all.
Yeah.
At all. Even a little bit, Joseph. I don't appreciate that shit even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Oh,
So
the reverse Robin Hood. Please explain, sir. Go ahead.
So respectfully, I'm gonna have to call that something that I'm not going to participate in. But I
what do
do
you mean
appreciate the
reverse Robin Hood?
opportunity. Huh?
What do you mean reverse Robin Hood? Explain, please, sir. Go ahead.
So you're gonna steal from the poor and give to the rich. That's the reverse
Steal from the
Robin Hood.
poor.
You're gonna steal from the poor and give to
Oh,
the
no, no,
rich.
no, 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 no,
That's the
no,
reverse Robin Hood.
not
Is
at all.
that not the reverse Robin Hood, Joseph? Is that not what's going on here?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh,
Because
oh.
PBC,
Forgive me. Forgive me.
No. there's a huge misconception, and it's not your fault, brother. This is a huge misconception.
Oh,
right now, the fighters, this is the only way they're getting paid is from pay-per-view distribution.
And
Otherwise,
I would love
they
to
don't make
support
anything.
these fighters. I would love to support these fighters, but I don't know why I have to come out of pocket to support my local fighters or support. They're not even my local fighters. They're not even from my neighborhood.
Look, it's no different than a local card now, because there is no big site fee or licensing fee, right? There is no big licensing fee. They're not getting paid guaranteed. This isn't no guarantee with these payments. They're on distribution only.
Joseph, I don't know why I have to finance this. This is what I'm saying. I don't know why I have to finance this.
Look, and I'm telling you,
I would love to support these fighters, Joseph.
Well, here, listen, Lance. You might want to get used to it because the way the ratings are, and and this is why I was telling everyone last year, if you remember, Showtime pulling out of the market. That now everyone is looking out their investment dollar, DAZN as well as ESPN, and wondering, hey, should we be in boxing any further? And ratings haven't been favorable. Subscribers, why do you think DAZN increased their subscription rate to $30 a month? 29 to be exact. And they're still charging for pay-per-views. Why? Do you think it's because they're flourishing? No, we're paying for it anyway. So unless we get subscription numbers up, you better get used to paying for your beloved boxing on a pay-per-view level every single time.
I can't do the reverse Robin Hood, Joseph. I can't do it.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, man, that's your. But I don't. To be honest, Lance, I don't know why you continuously say reverse Robin Hood then, because we're paying the boxers now. So think of it as a fight card on the club level.
I'm talking about this card. I'm talking about this card specifically, Joseph. And I respect you, and I respect the PBC, and I respect everything. I respect boxing in general. But at the same time, I can't do the reverse Robin Hood. I just can't do it. Respectfully towards boxing fans and towards anybody that financially supports this sport, which I've been doing for this year and many a years, Joseph. I'm a casual. I'm trying to learn, as much as anybody else. But
so you think this is a money grab? That's what you think this is?
I don't know. No, sir.
Gouging the consumer?
No, I don't.
So I don't know why you consistently
this is
say
not an intentional
reverse Robin Hood.
Well, because they're simply taking from the poor and giving to the rich. They're simply taking from the poor. Joseph, I'm not here to argue with you about this. That is true.
I know. I'm just trying to inform you that this is a distribution deal. Oh, okay. Well, then, hey, I'm going to be quiet. And there's your pedestal. There's your soapbox. Go ahead and inform me of the reality of this business, since I don't understand it.
Joseph, I listen to you to be more informed, to be more aware about boxing in general. But in this particular card, on this particular weekend, that's exactly what's going on here. And
hey, how so, sir? Explain to me. So how much is Erislandy Lada getting paid guaranteed for this?
I'm not exactly certain. Okay. I hope he's getting. I hope that he's getting paid.
Do you know how the money? Do you know what generates the money to pay the prelims?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna inform you then. Okay, ticket sales haven't been good. All right. Well, that's what's supposed to. If you didn't know the way the business is usually. Like, say, the Golden Boy card, right? Barclays Center, the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, he paid a big site fee to host Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. That's right. So he's paying the prelims, the undercard, right? But DAZN, they're paying the licensing fee. they're guaranteeing the purses for Ryan Garcia as well as Devin Haney. That's the way it usually works.
All right.
But in this case, when I say Amazon Prime is on distribution deal exclusively with PBC, that means they're not paying a licensing fee. That means that's why it's on pay-per-view. We're paying for they don't even know how much they're getting paid. We're paying for it.
So we're solely, as the audience, supporting these boxers.
That's it. And this is, now let me ask you, and here's the quandary, and this is why we need your help. And it's not a reverse Robin Hood. Okay. And I hope everyone is listening to this. This is very important.
I'm here to learn, Joseph. I'm here to learn.
So let me ask you this, since you're a diehard boxing fan.
Yes.
Okay. What demographic does this fight card appeal to? A mainstream and casual demographic or a diehard demographic?
Australia and
Australia. That's the only reason why Tim's
hold
here.
on. Well, no, not necessarily.
No. I'm telling you, that's the reason why he was chosen for this first event, Tszyu, because of his mainstream appeal in Australia and that distribution. The money, they're largely depending on those mainstream dollars come from Australia, but they need the American market to support this.
Of course.
And so we're basically paying for Seabass's purse, basically, if you purchase his pay-per-view.
And I mean, I want to support these fighters, Joseph. That's the thing. But I just don't know, like, why do I have to be the only one investing in this? Why do we not have sponsors? And why do what is going on here? Why do we not have networks that are
this is why I always tell fans that this is why it's so important to subscribe. Without numbers to support, so we're projecting an audience of X amount of participants or viewers. Do you know how hard it is? I don't know what line of business that you work with, but do you know how difficult it is to get sponsorship without numbers?
Joseph.
Oh, no. There's dude, we're all just regular guys, my friend. Okay. And look, I'm not trying to put you in a class or category. I'm just saying, I don't know what business that you work with, what line of work, but I solicit sponsorship, and it's for promoters around the country. That's one of the things I do for promoters. And so it's very difficult to solicit sponsorship if you don't have the numbers to support it.
Right.
That was the problem. Do you remember when PBC bought all those time buys and they go, we're going to get all the commercial revenue? Well, they couldn't put up the numbers to support commercial sponsorship. And so do you remember on that product where they kept showing the Corona commercials and just a limited amount of commercial advertisement, right, during those shows?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, because it was really difficult to get big time Forbes 500 sponsorship for these events. And without it, you have no choice but to put it on pay-per-view. That's the only way you can get these fighters paid. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, I get it and I respect it. And again, I want to invest in these fighters, but why do I have to put my hard working money? I mean, I work hard each and every week, day in and day out. I'm working paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I can hardly afford to keep the light bill on over here, so why should I take my money and invest it into these guys,
Well, look,
I'm just trying to watch a sport that I enjoy.
Of course. And, back in the day when it was a healthier product and before the promoters screwed us and put it behind a pay-per-view paywall, put it behind HBO, put it behind Showtime, guess what? We used to get it for free, just like NFL. It was a mainstream pastime. But after decades of putting it behind a paywall, either through cable or pay-per-view, guess what? The audience numbers diminished. Kept getting lower and lower, and now here we are. We're
doing the reverse Robin Hood. That's what we're doing now.
Okay. Well, then, you know what this is? Look, if you're not going to listen, there's no point in me even saying anything. Because I'm telling you why it's on pay-per-view out of necessity.
Joseph, I'm not trying to be stubborn, and I'm going to respectfully agree to disagree. I'm going to go ahead and keep on moving. I have nothing but respect to you and your platform, World Week Radio. I respect you
as well, brother.
And I'm going to catch you on the next one, okay?
Very good. But that's the business end of it, sir. And you know what? I'm glad you brought this up, Lance. With all due respect, thank you for bringing this up, because there are a lot of misconceptions as to why this event is on pay-per-view. So thank you for bringing this up, because I know a lot of fans feel the same exact way you do. So thank you,
for
my friend.
keeping me informed. I appreciate you letting me know, because again, I come to the channel for information. I don't come here for anything else. So thank you for letting me know.
Hey, God bless you, brother. And you know what? Keep on supporting your diehard boxing. And you know what? That is well within your right if you don't want to purchase it.
All right. God bless you as well.
God bless you, brother. And you know what, man? Stay warm, dude. Stay warm, my friend.
I'm trying,
You're
man.
in Minneapolis. You're in St. Paul? St. Paul, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. God bless you, brother. And hey, go Vikings.
God bless you as well. Go Vikes. Take care.
Take care, Lance. Thank you for visiting us, brother. And guys, at this time, I'd like to welcome my brother to the stage. G Funky Boxing. G Funky, how you doing?
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Was in and out because I was preparing the children for bed.
Well, I tell you what, did you hear any of that?
A little bit. I heard that was Lance Meyer, right? One of our
it was Lance Meyer. Good guy, man. Always supports the podcast. Always supports boxing.
Indeed.
But for some reason, I was trying to tell him the reason why this is on pay-per-view out of necessity, and he seems to think this is a reverse Robin Hood: take from the poor, feed to the rich.
Yeah,
and I'm telling him that's not the case. This is on pay-per-view out of necessity. Because once again, there is no big network paying these guaranteed purses to these fighters.
Yeah, that's
and this is the only reason. This is the only way these fighters are getting paid, if the customer supports it.
Yeah, that's something that we've been told for many, many months now, going into this Amazon Prime deal for PBC.
Now, we've tried to warn you guys that this was inevitable. If subscription numbers didn't increase, and especially with Showtime ducking out of the business, that's not a good look for boxing in the American market. And we tried to warn all of you guys that this was going to happen. So if you don't want it to happen any further, if you want to Amazon to, grant PBC possibly next year in giving them an allotment, right? Giving them a budget for their boxing entertainment, boxing programming, then you might want to start supporting it. Otherwise, it's going to go away. Why would anyone want to invest if no one's for it or watch it?
Yeah, yep.
It's simple business, guys.
That's the thing, man. And you talk about this often. Now, look, I've been asked this several times, and I've been on other channels talking about this particular card which was Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. Now he's being replaced with Seabass Fundora, who, by the way, great guy, great family. I got a chance to meet them down in Los Angeles last year at a Golden Boy card where his younger sister, the Sweet Poison, Gabriela Fundora, became the world champion that night.
Can you hear me still, brother?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, and met them there in the lounge at the hotel where the fighters were staying at, and we were partying after the fight. Not them, I'm talking about me and my crew. And they were there before us, and they were just finished eating dinner, and they were getting ready to head back to the to where, I don't even think they were staying there. But yeah, good people. I asked him when is he coming back. He said, hey, probably early next year. This is all before any news broke about PBC going or Showtime ducking out and PBC going to Amazon. So he anticipated an earlier comeback, but now he gets bumped up due to injury. He gets bumped up to the main event status. And my thing is this, man. I try to tell people this. Instead of, and you say this all the time yourself, Joe, why always rationalize not buying something, especially if you enjoy the product, right? And what I mean is this, right? Forget all this PBC, anti-PBC, anti-DAZN, anti-top rank.
That's just, look, I said it last night. Right? That's just gay, dude. That's just gay.
It's weird, man.
That's just gay.
If you enjoy,
honestly, dude, you're gay. If you support one promoter and not another, and you still claim to be a fan of boxing, sir, you're not a fan of boxing, and you're just gay. Hey, why don't you move on over and support the WNBA?
Woo.
Go poison another sport.
Yeah,
because you've done a great job poisoning boxing.
And I was asked this question, Joe, on this other channel about this this card. Like, hey, well, are you gonna buy it? And I said, yes, I'm gonna buy it. And they said, well,
I always buy the events.
Why would you spend $70 on this card? You know, and I said, well, look, here's the thing, right? First off, I enjoy watching Tszyu fight.
Hell yes.
He's got a great style for fans. He always looks for the knockout. Yeah, I enjoy watching the guy fight. So that's one reason. And then number two, Pitbull Cruz versus Raleigh. I think that's going to be a good fight too. And it's one of those things where it's like, look, interesting fight, co-feature. I like Tszyu as a fighter. Now, Keith Thurman, at the time, it was Keith Thurman who was still scheduled to fight him. One of the most inactive fighters in boxing right now. The thing that I was most interested in at that time was to see if he could be the first guy to actually stop Keith Thurman in a boxing fight. So, that was what piqued my interest. Now I'm even more interested because I think that the Fundora fight, on paper, this is an upgrade. On paper,
that wasn't bad, brother. That wasn't bad.
And,
by the way, Lance, it was my pleasure for having you on, and brother. And anytime you want to come chat, please do, sir.
Yes,
go
sir.
Go ahead, G. Go ahead.
And how we talked about this earlier on the phone, Joe, about how, yes, on paper, Fundora is a much more exciting fight than Thurman, but do we know that for sure? No. So we can't ride with the, oh, this is an upgrade guarantee. All right.
Boy, I think I'm gonna have to switch to my hotspot, brother.
Yeah,
Guys,
I think so. You're breaking up just a little bit there. I hope you guys know who it is that we're talking about when we say this is an upgrade. We'll have Joe do a better impression of the guy than me. I'm not as good as Joe, but yeah, I believe on paper that this looks like a much more fan-friendly type of fight with Sebastian Fundora. The only thing is that he's been inactive coming up on a year now. He fought Brian Mendoza.
Well, not only inactive, G Funky, he got smashed in his last fight, knocked out cold.
Yeah, and he was a 10-1 favorite going into that fight.
He was. That was the largest odds. That was the widest odds of any main event in 2023 for Showtime PBC.
Yep. And I got to give credit where credit is due, not only to PBC for putting on some competitive fights on Showtime Championship Boxing, but the day before, I covered a ShowBox event here in Northern California that was put on by our friend Samson Lukowitz and another one of our friends, Paco, from Paco Presents here in Northern California. And they put on a great show. But Coach Salas was actually one of his fighters in the main event on that card, and I got a chance to speak with him after that fight. He told me they were going to knock Fundora out. Mm-hmm. He said, "Hey, we're going there to knock this kid out. We're not trying to win on points, man. We're going to knock this dude out." And yeah, he was right. So shout out to Coach Salas as well.
I tell you what, guys, and look, that's my burning $1 million question right now. Is this an upgrade? This is an upgrade. So once again, it's very reminiscent of everyone saying that Jermell Charlo was an upgrade compared to Jamal.
Yes.
Did it play out that way?
No, that fight was.
So once again, guys, we don't know. And unfortunately now, we never will know, just like we never will find out if Jamal was an upgrade or Jermell was an upgrade to Jamal. My guess, no. Jamal was the bigger man, and we were telling you this. This is not an upgrade. Guys, it may be an upgrade to the mainstream and casual fan who wants to see Rock'em Sock'em Robots for 3 or 4 rounds. But that's as far as this gets, guys. Tim Tszyu is going to smash Seabass Fundora. And I, for one, it's hard not to root for Seabass. He's such a nice guy. He's a good kid, comes from a good family, but he's going to get his ass whooped. And look, it might be more aesthetically pleasing to the mainstream and casual once again, but the more competitive fight was going to be Keith Thurman. Keep in mind, guys, no one had ever decisively beaten Keith Thurman. No one had ever dominated him. No one had ever knocked him out. Now, he had been hurt several times. Hurt by Manny. Hurt by Riverside Rocky, your man. What's his name?
Oh, Josecito Lopez.
Josecito.
Also Luis Colazo hurt him to the body as well.
Also, Luis Colazo. I don't know why people say Colazo. He's gotten used to his Collazo. But the Puerto Rican from the East Coast. Yeah, I haven't spoken to Luis in a long time. He's a cool guy, man. That's a guy who he felt that he had to knock everyone out or else he was going to get jobbed. I thought he beat Ricky Atten back in the day. And look what he did to Victor Ortiz.
Stopped him. Yeah.
Yep. Right before the Super Bowl. So once again, there's no shame in getting hurt by anyone at the top level. But had anyone ever knocked out or beaten Keith Thurman outside of Manny Pacquiao? No.
No, nobody.
And I was looking forward to seeing how he fared at 54. Guys, make no mistake about this. This isn't an upgrade. Now, the only angle that you can say this is definitively an upgrade is because 2 belts are on the line. But who gives a shit about titles these days, man? If it's not for the ring, who cares? Boachuk. Like, I hear a lot of people say, I want to get your thoughts on this, G-Funky. A lot of people are saying, I feel really bad, most badly for Boachuk. He's been waiting in line for the past 3 years, taking step-aside money twice. Why is that, G-Funky? And should anyone feel bad for him?
Look, man, this is what always happens, man, in these situations. It's some guy talking about, I feel bad for this guy because he's been waiting. I've never seen you mention this guy. Not talking about you. I'm talking about these guys who are saying this.
I know. Look, let me ask this guy's name. Look. Should we feel bad for a guy winning the lottery who was ranked number 25 in the world, becoming the number 1 contender in the IBF? Should we really feel bad for him?
No.
Getting paid step-aside money, virtually money for nothing.
Nothing?
Hey, you know what? I want to get some money for nothing. Hey, feel bad for me, brother.
Hey, money for nothing and your chicks for free. Oh, there we go.
No, dude, no. See, that's only a song, dude. Because everyone knows that chicks aren't for free. You're going to pay one way or the other. And some, you got to pay the court fees too. Oh!
Rim shot.
But look, I'll tell you what.
But yeah, guys, we should not feel sorry for this guy. He was upgraded from where he was to getting a shot.
This is an upgrade. Poor Steve Kim. Chinga.
Yeah.
Well, look, he brings it on himself. He's an asshole. I'm gonna say it out loud. He's an asshole, guys. And look, there's a reason why most people don't want to hire him for boxing any longer. Right? That's the reason. That's the reason. But look, guys, make no mistake about this. This is on pay-per-view out of necessity. Okay, so once again, this is the only way these fighters are getting paid is through pay-per-view. No one is paying for the licensing fee on this. For all intents and purposes, we are paying the licensing fee collectively. Yep. We are. And that's how it has to be viewed. So it's not a matter of robbing Peter to pay Paul. No, it's not a matter of robbing from the poor to pay the rich. If you respect these fighters, it's no different than going to a club show and buying a ticket. No different.
Yeah.
Because that's how these fighters get paid.
And like I said, if you enjoy watching Tim Tszyu, not saying you have to pay the pay-per-view to watch him, But you shouldn't rationalize why you shouldn't. It should be, man, let me think about it. I like this guy. I want to, let me see if I want to fork out the extra dough to watch him on pay-per-view. That's the way boxing fans should look at these things, man.
Yep.
But yeah, they listen to too many YouTube channels, but I think that's the problem, man.
Well, yeah, they think it's a more intelligent way of viewing things in a negative light rather than the adverse, right? And you're right on the money. They consistently rationalize why they shouldn't do something rather than why they should. Look, if you're a fan of boxing and this card exclusively appeals to the diehard demographic, right? If you want to see Rolly Romero get his mouth shut by Pitbull Cruz, hey, man, that's worth my 75. Hey, Lord knows I've spent $75 on worse. Okay?
Yeah.
Last time I went to a bar just to see one of my friends' bands play. Man, I put up a C note, brother. Easy. And that was before 10 o'clock. Chingao. Dude, I paid $10 to get in. And then I ran up a tab because I was with friends, over $100. By within 2 hours? Dude, come on, man. $75? It's like, dude, you can't even go to a shitty place for a shitty steak like Outback without paying over a $75, $80.
Yep.
And that's a $2 steak. At least it should be anyway. Anyway, guys, but look, here's the card. Brian Mendoza is now going to be fighting Sergey Boachuk. That's a good fight. Two guys who come right ahead. Two guys who are hard punchers, not the most skilled. I like Brian Mendoza in this. Now, once again, guys, Boachuk is in this situation because he's the #1 contender in the, IBF, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you know where he's ranked worldwide?
No.
29th.
Ooh.
So why do we feel bad for him?
Joe, give me a second, man. I got a phone call here. I got to take.
Yeah, gotcha, brother. Gotcha. And then, look, I don't even want to talk about the second fight, which is old man Erislandy Lara versus Michael Zarapa. That's the one where you actually go call Domino's and order your food or go to the bathroom or handle the kids or whatever. But when I was playing live and we were on tour, that's what we used to call the T-shirt band. We always wanted a band that was good, but not that good. That would keep people entertained. But we called those T-shirt bands to give, fans time to wait in line to purchase their T-shirts. So I guess that's your T-shirt bout. Erislandy Lara versus Michael Zarafa. Chingao. And then you've got Rolando Romero. And guys, I'm working on this. We are going to get Coach Bullet, Cromwell Gordon, who's going to size this up, who's no longer working with Rolando Romero. And he's going to be our very special guest this Sunday night. And he's going to help us break down this pay-per-view. Rolando Romero facing the Pitbull, Isaac Cruz. Look, all I have to say is this. I've got one word to say for that bout. Because it's tea time for Pitbull Cruz. And that's a shame. I really like Rolando Romero. I really like Rolly. He's a funny guy. In fact, I got to do commentary with Coach Bullet as well as Rolly Romero. And Rolly, shockingly enough, is really a really respectful young man. And he is and he's a funny guy. And he's actually quite knowledgeable when he's doing commentary, analyzing what fighters are doing in the ring. He knows what he's looking at in the ring. But he still doesn't know how to fight. He's still admittedly learning on the job. I tell you what, guys, this is a really interesting fight, though. And I think Pitbull is going to whoop his ass. let's just hope that he is all Pitbull fans anyway. I don't have a dog in the hunt. But for any Pitbull fans, let's just hope that he's improved on his ability to cut off the ring and close the distance. Because let's just face it, guys. In his last appearance against Giovanni Cabrera, he looked like shit. He couldn't cut off the ring and close the distance if his life depended on it. And it resulted in a split decision victory. One that he was fortunate to get. So we'll see, guys. It's going to be very interesting. But in my opinion, this is worth the money. I'll be happy to pay $75 for this, right? But the idea that Tszyu versus Seabass Fundora, a year layoff after getting smashed in the ring, knocked out cold, is not an upgrade to Keith Thurman, guys. Make no mistake about it. And unfortunately, we will never know if it was or wasn't. And that's it, guys. That's it. So there it is, guys. While we're waiting for G Funky still to come back on the air, I'm going to drop the link. I see my brother James from the Boxing Source there. If you have your headphones, brother, and if you've got your computer or your phone, click the link. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this, my friend. Let's see. Chihuahua. So I'm trying to read Lance Myers. I'm trying to figure this out. Call it inertia. Maintain the motion exclusive. Stare through Medusa. Seducing the plot. Call it Versace. Dividing the top. You ain't Wild Bill. You can reach and get it. Are you reciting some kind of rap lyrics? Because I don't listen to rap. Unless that's a poem you made. Either way, I don't think it applies here, brother. I don't know what that is. But anyway, sounded good. But hey, guys, what are your thoughts? Do you think Seabass Fundora gets past the 5th or 6th round? I don't see it. I really don't.
Hey, Joe, I'm going to jump off for a minute, okay? But I'll join back in if you're
problem.
still
You
on,
still
right?
have the link, brother, okay? You still have the link. You're fine.
All right.
We're an
Thank you.
hour in, though, guys. What would you guys like to talk about? What would you guys like to talk about? I think this is very interesting. Freddie Roach was just in the media. He stated in a recent interview that he thinks Jaime Munguia is going to knock out what he claims is a faded Canelo Alvarez. I'm going to read some quotes, guys. This is what he had to say. He goes, well, he's a very good student. He says he trains his ass off every day. He's doing great. I love this fight. And yes, I do see Jaime stopping Canelo Alvarez on May 4th. I don't know if I see it, but guys, we are going to get the opinion of my dear friend J.R. Bell from the Boxing Source. J.R., how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, what's going on?
Dude, first of all, let's go back to our topic du jour, so to speak, right? Is this an upgrade? Like a lot of people are saying, is this an upgrade from former unified 47-pound champion Keith Thurman?
No. I mean, once I got the news about, Fundora being, upgraded from, having the Boychuk fight to being in there against Tszyu, I was like, nah, he's getting served up.
Yep.
Had like a couple close friends like talk to me about it, and they knew Fundora just about how to know Fundora, and they're like, yeah, he's a nice kid and everything like that, but his style is just not really good against someone like Tszyu.
Tailor-made, brother.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, with Fundora, not fighting tall, just throwing like hooks and uppercuts, not really developing a solid jab. He looks to fight on the inside, and that's right up Tszyu's alley. He likes to, walk you down, follow you all around the ring, and try to beat you up. And that's pretty much what he'll do here against Fundora. Fundora was, pretty, doing pretty well against Brian Mendoza before he got chin checked. But but that's boxing. All it takes is one punch. At times, so you gotta, definitely take that into account. But we kind of seen, a little bit of how, not Tim Tszyu, but Sebastian Fundora, deals with guys that, come forward towards him. Like that Sergio Garcia fight was something that he really had to work through over the course of the 12 rounds.
Indeed.
And, I thought like Garcia pretty much like got the best of him a little bit there. But, you know how a couple of judges kind of lean towards Fundora in that fight. So, but yeah, this, I think this is something that, this could be a Tim Tszyu coming out party type of thing here, though. And that could be good for his part because, potentially what could be next for him is a really, really big fight. So,
boy, well, that's going to be contingent on how this fight does. Because look, Terrence Crawford, it's pretty much, from what I've heard, it's almost a done deal. Chris Eubank Jr., Terrence Crawford. And in my opinion, they're shooting high. The only reason why they're taking on that fight overseas is to prepare and to tell the world, yep, I'm still good in a higher weight division, and I'm preparing and telling you that I'm going to get Canelo Alvarez everything he can handle. Gee, Funky, am I wrong in making that assessment?
No, not at all, man. Sorry about that. That was business I had to take care of.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, but no, I'll let you guys go ahead and finish up because I wanted to add something different to the show. So you guys go ahead and finish up. Oh,
shoot,
Joe, you there?
My apologies. I had to cough. My apologies. But guys, look. Is that what you were alluding to? Was that the big fight that you were saying was on the horizon? Because Terrence Crawford, no, he's shooting for Canelo. And unless he prices himself out, he's going to get it. He's going to get it. Okay? And don't be shocked if Canelo and Terrence Crawford take their act to Netflix if Tyson versus Paul is a big, big hit. Don't be shocked.
Indeed.
I wouldn't be. I mean, you see how much people are talking about that Tyson versus Paul, and it's supposed to be free on Netflix, but that they're having all the sponsorships and stuff behind it, so that's where all the money is going to be coming from, for that fight. So if they could do it for Paul versus Tyson, imagine what it could do for Canelo versus Crawford if that goes over that way.
Okay, well, Juice says something interesting. Coach Womack said Eubank fight was fake news.
Yeah.
Is it fake news? Or if he just doesn't want to say anything right now, because then who's he fighting realistically?
Yeah. I mean,
do you see him fighting anyone? He's not fighting Ennis. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah,
No,
I slipped up because last Wednesday he was out there in the Plant City area there for Kelvin Davis fight.
That's right. You talked to Bomac? Yeah. What did he have to say?
I talked to Bomac. And he wasn't all too conducive about mentioning the thing there with Chris Eubank, but I was like, I really didn't think that was gonna happen anyway.
So what are the plans for Terrence Crawford then? He's gonna sit dormant again, waiting for Canelo?
Most likely.
Oh boy. Well, I tell you what, he's big game hunting then, guys.
Yeah.
That's what you can clearly assess from that.
Yeah,
he's big game hunting.
And that's why I said like he's kind of, banking on Tim Tszyu getting this win, over Fundora, so that he, not only could be WBO champion, but could be WBC champion. And then say, hey, I mean, I could just fight Tim Tszyu and be a unified champion at 154.
For how much?
Oh, now that is.
See, that's what I'm saying. If this fight stinks out the joint commercially, do you really think he's going to be interested? And you really think Al Heyman is going to want to negotiate with that guy again?
Well, no, I don't think so.
But, no, he's not going to.
But Is there going to be a way that they could work around it and have it be in Australia?
You know what? That's the
Ooh.
only
Mhm.
place where that fight makes serious money.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, Tim, you're a big star in Australia. But cricket's here, brother. Look at the ticket sales, homie. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney is doing a pile driver on you right now, brother.
And would Crawford, do you think he would travel to Australia for that fight? I mean,
For
I
the
don't
green,
doubt.
yes.
I don't
but
doubt it would
is-
make money,
but
but man,
is Tim Tszyu willing to pay Crawford A-side money? And he's the draw in Australia. I don't see it.
right?
It's like, you know what? I don't need Terence Crawford to make me money here. I could fight anyone in the Outback.
Yep.
So once again, what's Terence Crawford going to do outside of Canelo? In my opinion, just from looking at this from a business perspective, that's his only big money option is Canelo Alvarez. Otherwise, you know what? Sayonara, Terence. Might as well retire, brother, because no one is going to be willing to pay for that long green that you're requesting at this time. Think about this, guys. Did PBC and Showtime, did they make any money off that deal?
Which deal? I'm sorry. Which deal?
Crawford Spence. Did they make
Oh.
any money off that deal?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Nope.
Look, Juice. Terence Crawford, do you really think at this time he gives two shits about any belt?
Nope, not at this
Do
point.
you really think Paco activates him as WBO mandatory? Do you think that makes any difference in Terence's mind?
It's almost the same argument these guys are using against the Benavidez camp. Like, well, why haven't they asked Suleiman to make him the mandatory? Like that's gonna do something.
And
Yeah,
Platinum, welcome to the show, sir. Platinum is, boy, he's a sharp dude, and I love all of his comments. You can tell he's been in and around this business for a minute. And he says, when you pay fighters millions like the Mikey Garcia versus Jesse Vargas, that's the reason why we're here. Way above market value. Now everyone becomes entitled, and the fans suffer.
Wait a minute. That was February of 2020?
Is the quote and the comment of the night. Congratulations, Platinum. I am starring that comment and keeping that on the board because we've been professing that for how long, G Funky? Since since War Week Boxing became a channel 3 years ago. We've been telling you that this was going to happen. It's inevitable. We are here now, guys. We're here. Man. This is why this fight is on pay-per-view on March 30th. Okay?
I went to that Mikey versus Jesse Vargas fight, too.
That was in Texas, right?
Yes, it was. It was there north of Dallas.
Okay, hold on.
Mikey got paid, what, $7 million, I think, for that?
Yep. Yes, he did.
Holy shit. Woo.
Hold on. Hold on. Now, Juice is saying something very interesting. This changes everything. He's saying Crawford activated his mandatory status. I don't believe it, to be honest. I don't believe it. I have to see it to believe it. I don't believe it. Did Bomac mention any of that? Because he's his manager as well. As well as head trainer.
Nope. I haven't seen it.
Nope. Look, that would have come up if you asked him what the future plans were for Terence Crawford, correct?
Yeah.
Did he mention any of that?
Nah.
No.
Me, no.
So I don't believe it. I have to see it to believe it, Juice. My apologies, sir. I don't know where you got that. But I don't believe it. Because right now, Terence Crawford is looking for the long green, nothing else. He couldn't give two shits. This is a report from Jake Donovan. I still don't believe it. I think he's misinformed. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Once again, Terrence Crawford is not hanging around the sport any longer for another trinket. When you get to the stature that Terrence Crawford achieved when after bludgeoning Errol Spence Jr., he wants to make money. That's it. Like I said, Planet 619 reported, or he's confirming that as well. I'll have to believe it. I'll see it. I'll have to see it to believe it, guys. James, do you believe it?
Oh, it looks like what's we call it? Jake Donovan said. He said that Crawford like enforced that through the WBO last month. But I'm like, well, I would have thought they would have at least had someone else notified, when he did that, because, that's when he was in Puerto Rico when they had that that.
It happened. He's saying that it happened that long ago.
Yes. That
okay. Well, that's bullshit. It's bullshit, guys. It's nothing. Nothing. Look, unless Terrence Crawford's getting paid, guys, and look, make no mistake about this. It doesn't mean I like it, but I'm just telling you how this business works from experience. Okay. If the money's not there, Terrence doesn't give two shits about the titles. He doesn't care. Now think about this. Terrence is a businessman. How much is he entitled to if he allows the WBC to enforce that? What percentage is he entitled to, James?
Yeah, it's the mandatory challenger.
Now, did Jake Donovan report that?
No.
Probably not, because he doesn't know shit about this. Look at Jake. But I'm sick and tired of people reporting, the sanctioned order. It doesn't matter what the sanction. This is the weakest that we've ever seen the sanctioning organizations. And why? Because of the network promoter alliances currently in boxing. How many fights have you seen? They've even stopped airing this shit. How many fights have you seen Mauricio Suleiman slam the gavel down and mandate that have actually taken place in the past 2 years?
Not many.
Okay, so look, guys, understand the business first. All right? Understand the business first before you carry around this rhetoric, because that's all it is at this point, rhetoric.
No.
So once again, do you think Terrence Crawford is going to be fine with his entitled 25%?
Well, even with that, right? Like,
look,
it
even
won't
with
even be that.
Even with the 50-50
even with
split.
the adjustment. That's about as good as the WBO could make it, because you had an instance where, when Terrence Crawford was WBO champion at 147 and his mandatory was Sean Porter and they mandated it, it didn't go
60,
by
40.
those percentages. It went by 60-40 because of what Sean Porter was earning.
They look at your previous purses.
You think they're going to do that? You think they're going to do that here?
Look, and Tim Tszyu's never going to go for it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Tim Tszyu's never going to look. So, guys, it's a dead issue. I'll have to see it to believe it. And do I need Paco telling me this? No, it's my experience in the business. I'm already telling you how it's going to play out. Like, well, how much did Crawford get paid for the Spence fight, James?
It's supposed to be $20 million.
Can you see him getting paid any less?
Never.
Okay, Juice. I understand, brother. Think about this, though. Realistically, how many fights do you see Crawford participating in while he's still in the sport? How many fights does he have left?
Not many, if any at
3
all
at
at this
most.
point.
3 at most.
Okay, so look, maybe I should have explained myself. I'm already taking into consideration that Crawford and Tszyu won't see eye to eye because Tzew's the breadwinner in Australia. Okay, I already know this. Can you really see in them negotiate a deal without this going to purse bid? Can you see it?
Nope.
Now, once again, did Crawford versus Porter go to purse bid? No,
Nope.
It didn't. And they still had the intervention of the WBO giving them that percentage mandate. right? So it doesn't have to go to purse bid for the WBO to step in and say, we think these percentages are just. Okay? But I still can't see Crawford and Tszyu coming to a successful agreement. I can't. Terrence Crawford, after being a product of inflated purses for the past, 5-6 years at least?
Long time. Yeah.
Longer than that? Can you see him successfully negotiating a deal without a promoter working on his behalf? Now, keep in mind, Terrence Crawford prides himself on being at the table with these high individuals. I'm sorry, guys. I cannot see it. I cannot see it, guys. I'll have to see it to believe it. And I'm telling you right now, this does not happen. Unless Crawford is being offered at least $15 to $20 million, which he's not, the fight isn't worth that much, then it's not going to happen, guys. The only way you see Crawford fight again is if the Saudis pay it or he fights Canelo. That's it. Am I wrong in making that assessment, gentlemen?
No.
Okay, then let's move on. Ching out. It's an upgrade, gentlemen.
This is an upgrade.
This is an upgrade. Heavens to Murgatroyd. So, guys, what is on the? It's 11 p.m. and it's midnight where you are, James. Are you working in the Capitol right now?
Oh no.
You're on location then. Where are you, brother?
I'm over in Florida.
Well, that's still midnight, brother.
Yeah.
So tell us, how was your experience going and working your first Pro Box card?
Oh, that was a pretty good one. Good card there. Had the main event there. Sullivan Pereira against Artavoje Kaladzic. Kaladzic, has had a couple of solid performances there at the arena there for Pro Box, and ended with a knockout there in the 10th round. When that knockout happened live, I swore I thought Barrera was gonna fall completely out the ring, though, man. I was
boy.
no.
Yeah, I really felt for the poor guy.
You
know what, man? Dragging him out of retirement. Did you find out their purses?
Oh, nah.
Oh boy, I tell you what. I don't know how Pro Box is staying in business. They're bleeding money right now.
Yeah.
Like, do you know how many viewers it had on YouTube? Because I was one of the 4.7 thousand viewing it on YouTube. Yeah. That's not good. That's not good, guys. And wait a minute. How do you actually pronounce his last name? It's Polish, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Kaladzic?
Yeah, Kaladzic.
Yeah. He's Polish, right? See, I'm a ring announcer, and I'm having trouble with his name, Kaladzic. I can at least tell you the origin of his name. Yeah, he's Polish. It's Kaladzic.
Yeah, he's, not that resided not that far away from that arena. So he's, I guess, had, building the type of crowd to come over there. And, like I said, collect a couple of wins. And you just get a name on your, record there with Barrera. But yeah.
Hold on. Listen to this. This is my brother Danny Drew.
Oh, Serbian.
Welcome to the show, sir. And he says, Joseph, when are you going to say I know the business? Do I really have to say it at this point? Haven't you guys ascertained that by now? But yeah, I'll say it if you want me to. Yes, I know the business. And you know why? Because I'm in this business. That's the only way you get to know it, guys. It doesn't happen magically. Like James G. Funky, how much did you know about the business before you got involved?
Not a whole lot.
Very little.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only, it doesn't happen through osmosis, guys. You have to be involved. You have to get your feet wet in order to learn this stuff. That's why it's hilarious, man. Like I've actually received like messages from YouTubers and fans saying, "Oh, you're not really in this." Well, really, how would you know, sir? It's very simple. Very simple, guys. The only way you learn is from getting your feet wet, getting your hands dirty. That's it. So thank you, Danny Drew, for being here, my friend. So I'm sorry, James, as you were, in my opinion, what's his name? Who's the owner of Pro Box? The guy who owns Boxing Scene now.
Gary Jonas?
Gary Jonas.
Yeah, Gary Jonas.
Yeah.
Hey, do you remember back in the day when he paid Mike Tyson $500,000 to do absolutely nothing? When he set up Iron Mike Promotions?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, Jonas is known for some very questionable moves, to say the least. I'll just say that.
Well, look, anyone who thinks they can reinvent the wheel, like Al Heyman for one, right? Or like what was that? Andrade signed to him. Adrian Broner they wanted Adrian Broner. What was that?
Oh, Rock Nation.
Rock Nation. How'd they fare?
It didn't last long.
No. How about the guy who used to be with 50 Cent? What's his name? What was his
Gamboa?
defunct? Huh? Yeah. What was
Gamboa?
it now defunct? He signed Gamboa and James Kirkland. How'd they fare?
Oh, I can't remember the name of that company, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like the list goes on and on, guys. You're one and done. If you don't know what you're doing, you start bleeding millions. Right? That's exactly what Gary Jonas is doing now. He's bleeding money. Like, has he even made back the money he spent on hiring Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri?
And Juan Manuel Marquez?
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah, that's right.
Geez.
Marquez
El
is
Diamante.
there.
Yep.
I seen that when Joe Sean fought over there on the Pro Box card. Him and the team took pictures with Dinamita Marquez.
Yep. I tell you what, I love me some Juan Manuel Marquez, man. That is a bad dude. That guy's a warrior, man.
Yep.
I've seen so many of his fights live. I covered so many. And that guy always just sat in the pocket and traded with you. He wanted to prove that he was the toughest man in the ring. Who was the kid? He had the Greek last name. What was his name?
Katsidis.
Michael Katsidis. Man, I was there live for that. That was an amazing fight. Holy cow. Like, what happened to guys like that? Do we ever see fights like that anymore? Guys, we're going to see it now. March 3rd, for as long as it lasts, you're going to see another fight like that. Oh, Game Day 888. Welcome to the show, sir. He says, why didn't they hire you, Joseph? Who are you? To whom are you referring? Pro Box? Look, I'm not going to talk about that, but do you really think I want to work for a cluster bleep? Because that's exactly what it is. I had the opportunity as recently as 2 weeks ago. But I refuse to work for a cluster bleep in a sinking ship. No, thank you. I'm fine where I am. So there it is. Hey, have you checked out the front page of Boxing Scene lately, guys?
No.
And why is that? You don't really like reading press releases published on the front page? Ruining your Google ranking? Do they even know about that? No, they don't. So why would I want to be affiliated with anything like that? And there's your answer, sir. There's your answer. And why would they set up ship in Florida? Why would they set their home base in Florida and not a healthier market like Texas? San Antonio, to be exact, where they would have a guaranteed audience every single week of at least 4, 5, 6,000. How many were in attendance in Florida? James?
Man, you can't. You could barely fit 1,000 in there, if that.
Exactly. Why would they do
I
that?
think we might have had more
Like
people on our show.
you only have like one set of bleachers and then two sections for floor seats. And that's pretty much it. And it's like what, about 7 rows, 8 rows back.
So why would I want to be affiliated with that? Guys, I'm doing just fine in San Antonio, working for several different promoters. I'm doing just fine. Don't worry about me. Now, I will say this, Danny Drew. He says Pro Box TV has put on some good fights for up-and-coming fighters. Are you sure they're up-and-coming? There's a reason. Look. That Pro Box, for all intents and purposes, and God bless them, they are doing a great job for what they have, okay? But they are, for all intents and purposes, the island of misfit boxers. Sullivan Barrera in the main event? Really? But, yeah, so Santa Maria, he looked more like the Nina or the Pinta last week, didn't he?
Oh, man.
This is an upgrade.
Oh, goodness.
You know, this is an upgrade.
I was like, man, Flies was just two different, like way on a different level than Santa Maria was in that thing. Man, I was like, goodness gracious.
Dude, he made him look like Floyd Mayweather Jr. What the hell? I was like, wait a minute, isn't this the guy who just got blasted out by the top-ranked prospect?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that? Who is that kid's name at 47? That kid is special.
Oh, you talking about Janelson?
Jahai Tucker?
Yeah,
he's at the lower weight classes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, yeah, Flies had beat.
No. Who is the guy who beat the Dominican at 54?
Janelson, Boa Chica did.
Ooh,
Boca Chica, yeah.
Oh, Chingao. Guys, look, I'm going to repeat this one more time. I brought this up on the last. Why isn't anyone talking about, and have circled on their calendar, April 6th on DAZN, Richardson Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos. Why isn't anyone talking about that?
That tells you a little bit about boxing fans, especially with that being he fighting a very deep and 140
Holy
pound division.
shit, dude, that has must-see TV all over it. That is like, dude, Juice has the beat here. That has straight fire written all over it. And that has the potential to be a breakthrough performance for a fighter or a career-ending performance for a fighter. Like someone's getting knocked out in that fight, man. Look, I'll say this: Richardson Hitchens, he's the goods. He's a great fighter, especially given the favorable matchup. But I've never seen him in with a guy like Gustavo Lemos from Argentina. Let me tell you, man, he's going to have his hands full on that night. Don't be shocked, guys, if you see the upset. Hold on, brother. Dude, give me back your boxing. You need your boxing card revoked. Only reason to watch that card is Diego Pacheco. Dude, I'm revoking your boxing fan card right now. Turn it in. Because, sir, I question whether or not you're a diehard boxing fan with that comment. Hold on.
He's right about that, though. That comment there. That was a bad fight. That was horrible to watch.
Look, Chon Zepeda?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Chon Zepeda. I'm talking about Lemo. Like, really. Go check out Gustavo from Argentina. Go check him out. Gustavo Lemos. That is the fight. Guys, you can talk about Tszyu versus Seabass all you want. But the following weekend, that's the fight at 140. Gustavo Lemos is a beast, guys. And Richardson Hitchens is up for the task. I love that fight. I absolutely. Hold on. Who the hell said this? Did you say this, James? Funky, did you say this?
No.
Did you say that Hitchison versus Zepeda was fireworks? Who the hell said that? Brother, are you okay? Have you been drinking tonight? Oh, Chingao. What do you guys want to talk about, though, on the final segment, 15 minutes of the program? because we're going to cut out in about 15 minutes.
I seen something today on Twitter in regards to Samson, and because obviously he's going to be a guy who's going to be all over the place now because Fundora has been upgraded to main event status. But he was also on the let me ask you something podcast.
Let me ask you something. Oh, you're talking about the boxing voice.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hold on. Give me a second. If you don't mind, Joe.
No. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I could hook up my phone real quick and we can hear the audio. It's up to you, though, if you want to play.
No. As you were, brother. Go ahead. Let me ask you something.
Yeah. Just give me a second. Let me hook it up, okay? And then I'll.
No. I did not say Hitchinson or Richardson Hitchens. Get the name right. Richardson Hitchens was must-see TV. I said that Richardson Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos was must-see TV. Didn't I say that, James?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Because otherwise, man, it's like watching paint dry if you see him with something like Chon Zepeda. Okay, Dub Rightsiders. Hey, welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for being here, Dub. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother Dub. He said, Joe's not lying. I know Lemos because he was the mandatory for Devin at 35, but I got Hitchens over Lemos. You know what? I can't argue with it. Look, once again, yes, I said Richardson Hitchens was the goods. That doesn't make him must-see TV. Did I say that, James?
No.
No, I said Hitchens versus Lemos was must-see TV.
All right, I got the
let's hear it, brother. Let's hear it. Let me ask you. Let's hear it.
Let me ask you something. Oh boy. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
So are they still talking about these bullshit hypocrisies that don't make any sense?
Well, I'll just let you listen and then we can have a discussion about it.
Fun.
And that is the truth. And if you ask him, you can call him up and tell him.
Yes,
if he say anything different, he's lying to you.
But it's reported that you asked for the U.S. television rights.
That's correct.
Okay, you know you killing the fight. How the hell is the zone gonna pay Canelo, but you gonna get the U.S. rights?
Ryan Garcia versus
Tank Davis.
Tank.
Was
split. Both sides. The same deal, I told him. The same deal.
Yeah, well, that's not what's being reported. You need to make that clear because the same deal that Tank got is both people.
Listen to me. If you're giving $1 fucking billion to Canelo, he will not fight Benavides because he will not want to lose the fight. That's all.
Come on,
and
Samson,
let me tell you.
Come on. Canelo, oye. Tú sabes muy bien que.
Now he starts talking to him in Spanish. So basically, yeah, he's saying that Samson killed the fight by asking for TV rights for Benavides and Canelo. And again, we talked about this. Remember, we talked about this when people were saying Benavides. Well, I shouldn't say people. The fanboys were saying that Benavides has no leverage in negotiations with Canelo. That's bullshit. And the fact
wait a minute. Let me ask you something though.
Sure.
They're talking about a hypothetical situation right now. Who has the distribution rights for Canelo versus Munguia?
Both do.
Okay. Well, who has the primary? Who, like, in other words,
PBC.
PBC. That's right.
Yeah.
And they're currently working in a collaborative effort with Amazon Prime to distribute this all around the world, right? DAZN, the only reason why they're getting a percentage, and a small one at that, is because they agreed to pay the licensing fee. In other words, Jaime Munguia's purse. That's it. So 35 million compared to 6, respectively. How much of a percentage do you think DAZN is getting? So once again, this is a non-issue, guys. If Canelo is working with PBC, then Samson is absolutely correct. They get the TV rights. They get the distribution rights. Okay? It's a non-issue. And why would he bring up the hypothetical of Canelo working with DAZN? He's not.
Yep.
Okay, so he hasn't in his last 2 fights. So why is this even being brought up by, let me ask you?
He even asked, let me ask, you asked for TV.
You asking? Oh, Chingao, dude.
Well, look, yeah, that's the thing, man. It shouldn't even be a question at this point. And I don't even know why fans are still talking about this.
Here, brother.
Dude, yeah, shout out to Lance.
It's because, man, they don't have anything. They think they're onto something when they don't know jack poop about the business. Like, seriously, why is Ness even bringing that up? Well, you're killing the fight. Really? Because he has a working relationship with DAZN right now? Is that why he's killing the fight?
Yep. Crazy.
Look, El Cuatro has a beat. Thank you, number 4. Yeah, let me ask you, G-Funky.
Let me ask you something. Yeah, that's funny, man.
Let me ask you, Big James. Look, why is anyone even still bringing this shit up?
Silly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just pure madness.
Hey, let me ask you something, Big James.
Let me ask you this.
So why on earth is Devin Haney tangling with Shakur Stevenson right now on Twitter again?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I mean, it's what they call him, Shakur Twitterson. And Bill Haney was saying something, and now Devin Haney saying something. I'm like, oh jeez, like all of this is just.
No, dude, it's for the benefit of the fanboys. Like, honestly, dude,
basically,
guys, this is all sideshow for the fanboys. It means nothing, guys.
And people are still, while this has become a thing again, they're bringing up this. Well, Shakur could have had the fight. 25%. Oh my
God.
Yeah,
live at the Rumpelstiltskin Arena in Fantasyland. We've got a great one for you, folks. That's it. PT Barnum is alive and well. Look, Anza Stone, thank you, brother, for joining us. And thank you for your commentary. Great show. For the chatter, usually bodes well for the fighter facing the fighter that just suffered a devastating KO loss. Look, guys, I hate to say this, but this is not for. Let's just cap it right here, guys. Let's just put a cap on it. And another thing, G-Funky, James, I'm going to ask you both this. What the hell does, look, I understand what capping means now, but why was cap chosen to represent a fabrication or a fib or a misleading information that's not the truth? Why was cap chosen to represent that?
You're asking the wrong guy. I have no.
Listen, they just create this stuff from wherever,
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you back away from the mic a little bit, James? You're fuzzing a little bit.
Thought that was Darth Vader.
Oh, you got me? Now, I was saying, like, I don't know. They just associate the weirdest words for lying or whatever term they want to.
So why did they choose cap?
Days. I have no clue.
Like, what does cap have to do with that?
I don't know, but
now maybe I'm just old and maybe I'm a little too white. But
no, look, we know this. If it's cap, we know Haney's capping about this 25%. Man, he's not a real promoter. Like he tried to push the narrative.
Like 25% of what?
Right,
did he
exactly.
ever disclose 25% of what?
No, never.
So why does any fan believe that shit, that nonsense?
Yeah. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, James, you were with me when you came to my show back in January. We talked with Amari Jones, who is signed with Devin Haney. And
guys, I just found out that I'm on 1% now. I'm out and about, but I've got to close this stuff down. So guys, thank you for joining us tonight. And guys, on behalf of G-Funky Boxing, on behalf of the incomparable JR Bell, hey, happy birthday again, belated, brother, by the way. God bless you. I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Rod Vachon Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.